What is going on, shrimp keepers? This is Rob with flipaquatics.com, and today we are going to look at a monster, literally a monster aquarium. This is an 800-gallon aquarium that is owned by our good friend Cory over at Aquarium Co-Op. We got to spend some time with him and some other big YouTube personalities, and so definitely check out this video. This is going to be crazy. Now, I'm telling you, this video will not do this 800-gallon tank justice. This thing is massive. Like, literally, I could swim in this thing.
So here we got the auto water, or the auto feeder just kicked on because we just turned the lights on. That goes on every morning at 10 a.m. That's the first of probably 3 feedings every day. That gets the tiger barbs a belly full of food and gets a little bit of a snack for the clown loaches so that they will leave all the bloodworms and other pellets that I need to feed to get to the other fish. So luckily you caught that right when it came on. Normally they would rush up and eat it all, but since it's about 8 o'clock at night and this is feeding like number 5 of the day because we already did the 4, they're going to take a little bit to eat that, but hey, light had to come on. So
how much does an auto feeder like that cost? I mean,
those ones run about $100 bucks.
I mean, that's not bad if I mean, it takes so much work out of it.
Right.
It's remembering to feed every single morning, like, you know, where people sometimes we forget, like that's just like, it's very convenient.
It's cool because it's one of the few feeders that gets plugged in. So you can hook it to a timer and you can have it feed 50 times a day if you want it. I only have it do once, so that way it at least gets their bellies full before my day starts and then I feed them something else. But yeah, you can load up big hoppers and they're expandable, and the company's kind of rinky-dink, like it's not even like you can place an order and they're like, is it even coming? Like, what's going on?
It takes a while.
Yeah, so that's why I don't like really tell people and plug it, because I'm like, I don't want to send people a bunch of there and they're like, the guy's got my money, but I haven't seen anything in like 3 weeks because it took a while to get some stuff going. So, you know, I do like it, but it's made and sourced by just like one guy that's like, from what I can tell, like in his 70s. And he's not interested in selling the company, and he's not really interested in even doing it anymore, but he's got some units, and he'll take your money sometimes. So,
jeez.
you know, it's one of those.
So like, that was a bad plug.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is cool, but
so,
you can find it. They're kind of in between, like a full-on commercial feeder and your own hobbyist feeder. So it kind of bridges that gap, because a full-on commercial feeder might be $600, $800 from somewhere like Aquatic Eco or something like that, which that's a little bit crazy when it comes to a feeder.
Gotcha. Now tell me this. First of all, this is an absolute huge tank.
Yeah.
How many gallons is this?
800 gallons. The size is 8 feet long, 4 feet front to back, and then 40 inches tall.
Which literally you could fit a lot of 55 gallons. Like, if you want to get the dimension of this tank, stack 2 high.
I think you can do almost 24 of them.
24.
Yeah.
So if you went and bought 24 55-gallon tanks and stacked those in your living room.
20. I bet you it's like 20. Yeah.
Yeah, 24 would be like.
Yeah, it's like 1,100 gallons. So.
Yeah, we're a little off on our math, but
it's more like, yeah.
It has been a long weekend.
Well, my math was this: 4 feet front to back. A 55 basically is 1 foot front to back, so that's 4, and then you got 8 feet long. That's another 4. That's 8. And then you stack those on top, it's probably right here. That's 16. You still have this much room left, though. And then, like, maybe you turn 4 of them on their side, that'd be 20.
Gotcha.
That was my math. Yeah.
Now, how about this? What do you have in here? We'll start with fish first.
Yeah. So I've got over 100 clown loaches. I've got over 300 tiger barbs, and those kind of school together and keep these loaches super active up and feeding off the top. A lot of people say, oh, my clown loaches hide all the time. Well, they don't have a like species to give them the confidence to swim around like they would really want to. So the tiger barbs help with that aspect. Now, once these clown loaches grow up and they're big, they'll have the confidence to do this all the time. And I used to have a big group of loaches, and that's how I kept them. They would eat off the top. They were super playful, and you got to have a lot of them do it, and they got to be big enough to be boisterous enough to go, oh, I can go out and not get eaten in this world. Yeah. So that is the main thing. Then right here we've got the Giraffe Catfish. We've got 2 of those in there. They're going to get about 3 feet.
Oh,
and it's just sitting right on top of the fake log there. That's the little bit bigger of one we have. And they just sift through the gravel and clean that for me. We've also got probably 6 or 7 exotic plecos hidden throughout underneath the log right now. You can see wedged between the log right there, there's a super red bristle nose.
Oh, I do see it.
Yeah, just hiding right there. And then we've got a 12-pack of reticulated hillstream loaches, and I just found babies in there yesterday.
Whoa, how cool is that?
Yeah, I haven't seen them now because you gotta really look between the rocks to see them. But
well, I mean, just look. You gave them the perfect environment.
Right. This environment is made to spawn loaches. That's what all the rock work is. And yes, debris gets trapped in there, but so do eggs. And the eggs hatch, and then they eat that debris, and then hopefully they come out large enough so that the other fish don't eat them. That's the goal, that there's tiny crevices.
So you chose these rocks with that in mind?
Yeah, they're river rocks, and that's kind of where that's how they would normally spawn. And then I added these archer fish in there. This is the Burmese clouded archer. It's a true freshwater archer fish. They get about 5 inches, kind of fun. And I'm gonna lower the water level down eventually and put a bunch of like stick work above and feed crickets and watch them shoot them down because it's super fun.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, I really do enjoy them, and I've wanted to do it for a long time. That fish in the back there is a flagtail Prachi Lotus. It gets to be about 24 inches. They can get a little bit bigger, but it's an algae eater.
That's a big fish.
Yeah, so it's a big algae eater that loves to eat hair algae and things like that. And he's finally been able to catch up on some of the algae on the plants. I was out of town. I didn't have the auto doser set up, which we do now, so we're automatically dosing fertilizers every single day. It also automatically water changes every single day.
That's up there in the corner.
Yeah, that's what that is up there. For filtration, we've got an above tank sump, so it's got a fine polishing pad and then some bile balls. And most people would say, hey, that's not very much filtration. You're right. So then we go over here.
Real quick question about this.
Yeah.
Would you always recommend with this big of a tank having a filter above the tank or below?
Maybe not always above, but I like having my sumps above tanks because 1 inch of water from this, like 1 inch, is a lot of gallons of water. Your sump has to be huge because the footprint's so big.
That makes sense.
So if the power goes out, we drain about 3 or 4 gallons of water from the overhead sump into this, and this can easily handle it.
Oh, yeah.
But the other way around,
you'd be in a situation.
And the problem becomes when you have a 4-foot tank front to back, you have to run a giant sump, and you have to like crawl in to get in and change things. And so I like having it above myself, and I can use all of this for storage underneath, extra tanks, equipment, foods, all that kind of stuff. So I put all that underneath. And then I've got a canister filter in there, and all these panels come off and that type of stuff, but right under here,
holy smokes,
there's an FX6 canister filter, so everyone's pretty familiar with that. This is a pond filter. Now this is a big canister, and it's got a 36-watt UV sterilizer in it, and it's got these basically handles right here. I'm not going to do it right now, but you lift them up and down, and this is filled with sponges. It's the pre-filter, so all the water goes here first, before it goes to the FX6, then it goes up to the polishing pad up top. So all that happens. You can pump these and it will clean the sponges. And this valve right here, all you gotta do is flip it and you can drain water back through here. It cleans it while doing your water change. So boom, hundreds of gallons of water can flow really quickly that way.
So all your filters are hooked together?
Yes, they're all in series, with this being a giant pre-filter to collect massive amounts of fish poop and then clean it very easily and back flush it out as often as I want.
So do you ever physically have to get in there?
I mean, ever is a long time, but it's designed so that maybe every 6 months or a year I would just check on it, but it's made to be cleaned without doing that.
Now, doing something like this, does this prevent from having to crawl under there and clean the FX6?
Right, exactly. That's the whole goal, because this is the first stop. It's going to collect the majority of the thing, and then probably every year or so I will clean the FX6, but it's filled with bioballs that are made not to collect debris. Then it goes up to the top sump that has bioballs that's not going to collect debris after going through the fine filter pad.
And then it flows back down?
Yeah, and then it's connected over here. This is a 300-gallon IBC tote. I've got stuff in the way because we've been doing stuff all weekend, but a turtle lives in here and just adds water volume. So
gotcha.
Up in here we've got one more fine filter pad to keep the water as clear as possible. Turtle lives there, and makes it about 1,100 gallons of water is what is in this system.
Gotcha. So what encouraged you to be like, hey, I'm gonna get an 800-gallon tank?
So if I'm being truthful, I thought it would get a lot of YouTube views.
And it does.
Yeah, and it did.
So you're right there.
It was the only way I could justify it, because this tank system cost me buying it and the filtration and all that stuff, it cost me about 15 grand. So it's a lot of money. I would never, and I think I'm truthful when I say this, I would never have bought it just for myself, because that's like a car, you know. So it made sense that the business could buy it. And don't get me wrong, I love it, but it would be really hard to sell my wife, like, we just spent 15 grand on a fish tank. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's really heavy. It's really thick acrylic. And I've had a blowout before. I had a 360 gallon tank that in glass blowout and cost me, you know, about $15,000 in damage in the store. So it had, in my opinion, had to be acrylic so that I could prevent that kind of failure in the future. And I wasn't going to build something this big and make compromises. I mean, there's lots of little perfect things like the feeding hole right here. You know, I love to have that. There's feeding slots too, like this slot. There's slots all around so that I can feed sheets of frozen bloodworms and stuff like that. And the back is black acrylic, and all these little upgrades cost a lot of money. The steel stand is ridiculous. Like, if I pull this off right here, I'll pull this one off easier. So this is a steel stand. It's 2-inch square tube steel, and it's got like 12 supports, and all self-leveling, not self-leveling, but all leveling feet, so I can level it because this floor is sloped in my garage. So I can level it.
And it cracked the concrete.
The crack was already there. Yeah, I would be really scared if all of a sudden the concrete cracked. It was already there, and it slopes quite a bit, and that's how I knew. I was like, I really got to be able to level this thing, because it's not a, you know, I don't want to put it on a piece of wood and then the wood gives out under pressure. Like, there's a lot of weight here.
Yeah.
And so yeah, all these panels come off. All the side panels come off. You know, so you can pull any panel you want off of it. And you know, about the last thing to talk about is I'm using Flue lights. So the Flue 2.0, I only use 3 of them. I thought I needed at least 6 4-footers. Like, I was really scared. It turns out I only need 3. And that was sponsored by Flue. They sent me 3 lights for free, which was super cool. I said, hey, I'm building a giant project. I really do love your lights. I sell them. And I just said, do you guys want to donate 3 lights to this project? And then when I get a chance, I'll say, hey, I use Flue lights. And I do like them. I sell them. You know, that part is sponsored. This video isn't sponsored or anything like that. But I have no problem telling people like what I use, what I actually like. They give me the FX6 as well, but I would have bought one and put it on there anyway, because
it's
like,
just a beast of a
gave me
filter.
one, and like, I hate the Eheim giant canister filter. So it's like I replaced in my living room tank. I gave that Eheim one away and put an FX6. So you learn to like certain equipment, and I just happen to like, you know, the FX6s. I like the Flue lights. I like Aqua Clears. You know, maybe I'm set in my ways, but I try other stuff, and when it doesn't compare as well, you know, that's just how it goes. So, you know, that's their little plug there. They did give me 3 lights, and I enjoy it, and it's working out awesome.
Awesome. Well, Cory, thank you so much for showing us your tank.
Anytime.
And I appreciate you letting me come down.
Yeah.
See you guys.